What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl janiaaaliyah, and welcome back to my channel. So as y'all can see by the thumbnail and the title, in today's video I am doing a things you should know / expect when starting cosmetology school part 2. Now, if you have not already, I highly recommend you going and watching part 1 before watching part 2, because I'm kind of just expanding on things that I said in part 1 in this video. So if you haven't seen that one yet, go watch that one, then come back. Okay, so first things first, just to kind of brush over some of the small general details that I may have talked about in part 1. The first thing is the length of program. So in Georgia, the minimum length of time that you can kind of complete your cosmetology school in is 9 months. Obviously there is like an hourly requirement, so you have to complete 1,500 hours. And basically when I did the math, 1,500 hours in 9 months just look like 8-hour days. I believe, I think it's 8-hour days. Let me do some math, because this is what I do when I'm trying to see how long I got left in school. So hold on, let me do some math. Like I was saying, the minimum amount of time that you can complete this program in is 9 months, and that essentially looks like 8 hours a day, maybe more. And also this depends on the school that you do attend. For example, my school, we don't do every Saturday. Some schools do Saturday, so that's an opportunity for you to kind of make up extra hours or kind of get done faster. So 9 months, you definitely gonna be putting in the work, but it's possible, because I tried to do it, couldn't do it, but it is possible for you to do it in 9 months. So basically anywhere from 9 months to 2 years is the average like length of the program. Obviously it literally depends on you. It literally depends on you showing up and putting in the time. So if you show up every day, perfect attendance for them 8-hour days, then you're gonna be done in 9 months. Whereas if you have more of like a demanding schedule, you have to work, you have kids to take care of, then it definitely will take you a little bit longer, and that's perfectly fine. So yeah, anywhere from 9 months to about 2, maybe 3 years. Now, as for the curriculum overview, cosmetology covers hair, skin, and nails. Now, if you want to kind of go a little more in depth of a curriculum overview, you can literally look up cosmetology school logs. So for example, at my school, we have logs that we have to check off every day, kind of just marking off the things that we did today. So for example, some of the things that I know I check off for sure every day are things like social skills, junior theory, senior theory, which is, you know, book work, hair shampoo, scalp treatments, hair cutting, chemical hair relaxing, hair coloring, hair removal. Basically every chapter in the book is essentially a part, well, every chapter in the book is a part of the curriculum. And so essentially every chapter in the book has like a segment on the log sheet that when we do those things, we have to check them off. So when it comes to like certain things part of our curriculum, there is a certain amount of applications that we have to do in order to, you know, be done with the program. So for example, you have to do 75 like shampoos, or you have to do 5 eyebrow and lash tints or whatever to complete that section of the program. You have to do 250 hours of junior theory to complete that part of your program. So that is kind of just like a small overview of the curriculum. You can kind of go a little more in depth if you do see kind of one of those log sheets, because I will say it differs from school to school. For example, my school, we also do go a little bit into business every now and then, which technically is not required in cosmetology, but that's just something that we do at my school. So yeah. Then obviously the licensing requirements. To become a cosmetologist in the state of Georgia, you have to obviously finish your 1,500 hours or 3,000 hours if you did an apprenticeship. So you have to do that, and then you have to go and pass the state board. And as for the state board, I can't really speak on that because I have not taken it yet. As y'all know from part 1, I just started cosmetology school last September, and as of right now, which is June of 2023, I am a little more than halfway done. So I have about 500 hours to go. I should be at like 1,000 hours by like the end of this month. So I got a little bit to go, so I can't really speak on the state board, but I do know that you have to pass the state board, which is a written and practical exam, in order to get your license. Now, for the financial considerations, I know I kind of did briefly talk about that in the last video, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people deal with, and this kind of falls right into the category of like not just finances, but also picking the right school. A big reason as to why I went to the school I went to was not only because it was local, but also because it was affordable. Now, as many of you who do watch my videos know about me, I recently graduated college from Georgia State, and because I graduated college, I knew that I basically already used all of my federal aid. So I already used all of the college or higher education money that the government was going to give me. So whatever I decided to do after that is going to have to be paid out of pocket. Whereas for some people, if you get out of high school and know, okay, I qualify for this amount of money, like in Hope Scholarship or just whatever, I'm going to use this for a cosmetology school that accepts financial aid, then you know that's good for you, and it's likely that you may be able to go to a better school at a lower cost to you. Now, the other thing that you also need to consider is for some newer schools or whatever, for some newer schools as well, it takes them a minute to get their accreditation. So basically, all accreditation means is that one, you can transfer if you want to transfer out of this school, that their credits are essentially standardized to the point where you can take what you learned here and apply them at another school and have your hours transferred, and also that school is receiving federal funding from the government. So that means that you'll be able to use financial aid at that school. The school I'm currently at is not accredited, so even though I can transfer out if I wanted to, because that's really kind of like a different situation. It's not like that's really like a different situation. I could transfer out if I wanted to and go to another school, and half of my credits would transfer, but I do not get financial aid at that school. Now, when it came to me looking for schools, financial aid is not something that was like a deal breaker for me, because I knew I wouldn't get it anyways, due to the fact that after I graduated with my undergrad, I wouldn't have any to use. So with that being said, when it came to me picking the right school, I wanted to make sure I went somewhere that was not only flexible and affordable. Flexible because obviously I have to work. I have to find some way to pay for the school. So I need somewhere that's flexible, so that way I can be there these amount of days and working on these amount of days. Then two, somewhere that was affordable in the sense where if I'm going to pay this out of pocket, I need this price to be realistic, and I need to be able to justify what I'm paying. So when it came to cosmetology school, one thing that steered me away from being in cosmetology school in general was the fact that a lot of these schools out here right now are costing like $20,000, $21,000. A lot of these schools out here are costing some big money, and I was like, now I can pay like, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 out of pocket, but I just don't even if I could make the money, I don't even want to pay $20,000 out of pocket. I just don't. And I say that especially knowing what I do know now. And I saw this in the comments on my last video a lot, how even some of the people who were going to these higher like ranking schools and these, you know, higher quality schools and higher costing schools were still having the exact same experience as me. And that's something I would tell my classmates and stuff when they would be questioning like, oh, should I be here? Oh my gosh, like, you know, this thing is right, that thing is right. One thing about it, and you will notice this, and I know anybody who has went to multiple cosmetology schools can tell you this, a lot of these experiences that we have in cosmetology school are low-key a universal cosmetology experience, is what I will say. It don't matter if you go to a $10,000 school or a $20,000 school. A lot of the issues that you have at one school, you'll probably have at the next one as well. So a lot of times, cost is not equal to quality. So the fact that you're paying more money does not necessarily mean that the education is going to be better. I tell people this all the time. I know people who have went to Aveda and Paul Mitchell and all the other good schools and have still failed the state board. The thing is, we're all basically learning off of the same textbook. So as long as you do your individual studying and you know how to read and you can get in that book, you have the chance to pass just as well as the next person does. Now, as far as it goes as actual experience, that may differ from school to school, but the only way you can actually find out if that school is best for you is talking to people who go there, going in for tours, and actually just seeing the school in action. Because I will say that compared to bigger schools, one thing that I do notice is lacking at my school is just a more diverse audience in terms of like customers. Girl, I be on TikTok, I be seeing these bigger schools, they'll get all these people in, oh, I want a balayage, I want, you know, highlights right here, I want this. Whereas at my school, we get the same things over and over. Silk press, oh, can I get 2 cornrows? Oh, can I get a roller set? Oh, can I get some permas? And so it gets very annoying, and I feel like in terms of like quality education, when I think of like cosmetology school, that's more so what I look at. Like, what is the range of the clients that are coming into the salon and what we're, you know, going to be able to learn. And even if you don't have the clients that are coming in, it's still also nice to like go over them and, you know, review those things for when they do come in. Whereas at our school, we're reviewing more so what the clients want versus what we actually want to learn. So to make that make sense, we're going over rod sets and roller sets because that's what more clients come in here, and that's not even something that's necessarily still expected on state board. Instead of going over like color and highlight and different coloring techniques, like we actually want to learn so we can do that when we get out of school. And yeah, but yeah, so just look at those things when you are like considering trying to make the best decision financially. Cost is not everything. You may go to a cheaper, smaller school and just have a more personal like education than going to a bigger school where the teacher may not have time to walk around and teach everybody how to, you know, do something the right way, or where there are so many students and not enough clients and you never get to work on a real person. So yeah, it's a tricky situation, but keep it in mind and just do your own due diligence when it comes to these schools. Do your research, go in there, hey girl, I saw you go to this school, like, yeah, okay? Because me and my classmates, we'll all talk to you, like, seriously. So if you know somebody who goes to a certain school and you think about going to that school, ask the people who go there. Obviously, the administrators are going to tell you what they may want to tell you just to get you into school, but ask the people who go there, because 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you the truth, okay? So that's really all I have to say regarding picking the right school and financial concerns. Now, as for like the required supplies, like I told y'all in the last video, and I also released a video on what all is in my cosmetology school kit, bag, whatever, which is even more now. It's kind of like updated, but I did buy a cosmetology school kit when I enrolled, and I think most of that was one because I don't think I had literally everything, or even if I did have everything, it wasn't organized as it should have been or whatever. And then you also, I didn't know like what was supposed to be in the kit, so I just went ahead and bought one. But honestly, if you ask me, I'll say this, because somebody asked if like they're required to buy the kit that the school provides. I would say it depends. For example, if you're a transfer and you're transferring from one school to another one and you already got a kit at your last school that has most of the things in it and you're going to another one, I don't see the sense in having to buy a whole new kit unless the kit at the new school comes with like a whole bunch of, you know, extra stuff or whatever. Aside from maybe multiple mannequins, I just don't see you needing like a full brand new kit. That's just me as far as it goes with transferring. Now, as far as starting at a new school, I personally feel like it's probably best that you just go ahead and get whatever kit that it is that they're trying to provide for you, because that way you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't have clips, or oh, I don't have this. And that way, if there is anything that you're missing, it's their responsibility to make sure they get it to you and not yours. That's what I'll say. Now, that may not be the case all the time, because I know, for example, like I told y'all in my last video, in my kit, I didn't really get too much that I actually used, nor that I actually needed, nor that was actually like a good tool and durable. I don't even think I use any of the original tools that came in my kit anymore, because like I said, I had most of the stuff at home, even down to my heat tools. I got a blow dryer in my kit, but had plenty of blow dryers at home, and thankfully I didn't use that blow dryer because they just weren't good quality, and a lot of them like blew out after a while or whatever. So I think it was good to get it, because some of the stuff I did not have, like the clips I needed and just small stuff like that. was worth getting. But I don't know. I would just say if you're enrolling in a brand new school and you don't have like a fully involved cosmetology kit, then get whatever the school is providing for you. If you're transferring, keep your old kit and maybe just get extra mannequins. So next up is the hands-on experience, y'all. And now this is probably like my most favorite part when it comes to cosmetology school, is getting this hands-on experience. Because the thing is, you can learn whatever you want to learn outside of school, but it's the difference between, you know, learning it and applying it. And I think a lot of times, like before I joined school or before I enrolled in school, I would learn cool techniques and stuff, and I would do it on myself, which would be relatively harder because I can't really see what I'm doing, but I would still try it. But I think you learn better when you do it on other people, because a lot of times when I do my hair, y'all, I just find ways to make it happen, y'all. It may not be the right way, it may not be the healthiest way, but I will find a way to make it happen. But I feel like when you're able to do it on different people with different hair types, different backgrounds, you know, different issues and stuff going on, that's really how you're able to grow, like working with just different types of things. Like for example, I have one client who got surgery a few years ago and had to cut hair around like her edges, and is trying to let that part like grow back. And so anytime she comes in, she always gets the same style, unfortunately, but anytime she comes in, she's always looking for a way to maybe cover up the hair in the front and stuff like that. And so I feel like if you're not presented with diversity, in a sense, if you're not presented with diverse clients and you're constantly working on you and people with hair like you and scalps like you and hair densities like you, then you'll never truly learn how to, you know, just address problems or just clients that are different from you when they come up. And I say this as well because we see this a lot of times in stylists with straight hair, how they don't know anything when it comes to natural hair. Like you'll call, listen, a lot of our clients come in like, hey, yeah, thank y'all so much for taking me. I called this other school and asked them if they did silk presses, and they were like, what's a silk press? And I was like, okay, talk to you later. And so that tells you a lot right there. If you know, you know. But the thing is, a lot of like people with straight hair who only specialize in straight hair don't know how to do anything when it comes to a curl or a wave, and vice versa as well. I have a lot of, you know, classmates who may not know how to deal with straight hair as well. That's something I'm also trying to get into, just learn how to work with all hair textures, because what works for us may not work for them, and what works for them may not work for us. And the best example that I can give y'all in that sense is how, as African American women, we wear sew-ins, we can wear cornrows, we can sew thread and tracks onto those cornrows, whereas people with straighter fine hair cannot have cornrows. You cannot like put that much tension on their hair plus sew in some double wefted tracks, because it'll cause their hair to just tangle, fall out, break off. It's just not meant for their hair, and you would never know if you didn't try. So yeah, but that's why I say diversity is important. I like to work on, you know, just all different kinds of hair. I definitely like to work on when the clients come in who have like really thick natural hair, tight curl patterns. I really like to work on them, because even though I've worked on them before, I much rather, being in school, I much rather a challenge than getting the same easy clients over and over, because at least I know like I'm being challenged, if that makes sense. At least I know I'm learning a little bit with this client compared to what I do on, you know, a daily basis. Along with that, I will also say, get as much experience as you can. Get as much hands-on experience as you can. Now, this is also one of those things to consider, like when looking for a school. Maybe don't go to a school too big, like unless they have a whole lot of clients. Maybe don't go somewhere that already has like 100 students, because you'll never get the chance to get a client, especially if there are like singers and people who are, you know, first on the way out. You want to go somewhere where you'll have the opportunity to not only get, you know, the book experience and book learning, but also the hands-on learning. And so my school is growing, but we don't have too many students to the point where it's like, oh, you know, this person doesn't have a client. And we also don't have too many clients, but we have just the right amount to the point where everybody can get a client at least once a week. And a lot of times, like when I'm there, because I'm full-time, so I'm there basically all day, I can do like 3 or 4 clients literally in one day, and I enjoy them all. But sometimes, y'all, sometimes I get irritated, and let me tell y'all why. So I'm there all day. So full-time, let's just say full-time is like 9 to 5 and part-time is like 9 to 2. Sometimes what will happen is, because I'm there all day, and I've been there like, at this point, some of the long, like I've been there like the longest compared to a lot of other students there, I will get most of the clients. So from 9 a.m. first client come in is most likely going to go to me. You know, do that client and me. I like to get clients in and out because I'm excited for what's to come next. I'm excited. I'm like, okay, let's go. And so sometimes I'll get the first client to come in, and as the day goes by and I may not be doing anything and it could be 4 other girls in there, by the time it hits maybe like 10 o'clock, because a lot of people don't really know how to work, you know, quickly and kind of manage their time, by the time it hits like 10 o'clock and a lot of them are like, oh yeah, you know, I have to leave at 2 or whatever. If a client steps foot into the door at 11:30 and like, hey, I want a silk press, many of them aren't necessarily confident in the fact that they can do a silk press in under 3 hours. So to be like, oh no, I can't do the silk press because I have to leave at 2 o'clock. But Jania is here till 5, and so now I'm now having to like do clients that other people, you know, could have done or whatever. And not gonna lie, sometimes it's exhausting, because a lot of times what happens is, when I'm doing clients, from the time, you know, we start taking clients to the time we're done taking clients, we get 2 breaks in between that time. So a lot of times I'm doing clients through my breaks. So I have not had a break. And so in that time where somebody else should be doing a client where I would at least have a break, I no longer do, because they don't want to, you know, take a client. And so it does get annoying, but honestly, I take all my experience, and then also you have to remember, everything is on a checklist, so you have to get credits for all of these things. So I get irritated because I'm just tired and emotionally drained at the time, but literally in my mind I'm like, okay, well, I can go ahead and check this off. That's just one less thing I'll have to do when it's like time to graduate or whatever. But it does get draining. But like I said, I just try to take as much experience as I can get, because I know even though I'm tired now, I won't regret being able to have these experiences with just different clients and, you know, all that good stuff later on. But yeah, so like I briefly mentioned before though, in terms of like time management, I do feel like that is one thing that you should definitely work on more than anything in cosmetology school. Like, yeah, it's good that you can do a good silk press, but if it takes you 4 hours, then what good is it really? And so I feel like one of the main things that I'm currently learning right now, and that I had to learn in the beginning, was the time management. Like just literally putting yourself on a timer, so that way you're aware of how long it takes you to do this. Okay, that's way too long, I need to speed up. Knowing things like that, because one, you know, when clients are booking, or like even when you're booking a service, it has on there how much your service costs and how long it takes. Then also when it comes to making like your schedule and how many clients am I going to take when, you have to know how long you take to do things to know how many clients you can take in a day. And if you're taking 4 hours, that's only about 1-2 people that you can do in one day. So the quicker that you can get these people in and out, the more money you can make. So one thing I've definitely been working on in school is that time management, is getting the people in and out, you know, get into the next client and, you know, getting done. A lot of times when I'm at school, I literally will try to practice like I'm in a whole salon, because that's what cosmetology school is, literally like salon practice. And so on those days where we're really busy, where I do end up getting like 3-4 clients, I'll be excited because it makes me feel like, dang, I can really do this. I literally just did like 4 people's hair. Like, wow, I really just did that. And so I would definitely encourage you, if you're either going into cosmetology school or starting like currently in cosmetology school, start timing yourself, see how long you take, and just kind of slowly improve. And maybe that's something that you can ask your teacher to kind of just look at you and tell me what I'm doing either wrong, or tell me what I can do faster. For example, for me with my silk presses, the thing that I could do better is basically I could blow dry their hair like better, so that way when I go through and have to flat iron, I don't have to, you know, I just don't have to do the most. I don't have to, you know, hold it real tight, or I don't have to pass real slow, or I don't have to take super duper tiny parts. Because if you get a really, really good blow dry, then the hair is already like 90% straight, and all you gotta do is go through with that flat iron and just get them on out of there. So just piece of advice. Now this next one, this is one of like my pet peeves when it comes to school, only because it gets a little complicated sometimes. So in the state of Georgia, you do not have to be licensed in order to braid. Yeah, you don't have to be licensed to braid, or I guess administer like natural hair services. Now you do have to be licensed to shampoo or use any chemicals on anybody, but as far as it goes like with braiding and twisting hair, you don't have to be licensed to do that. Now I have been braiding hair, like me myself, since literally 5th grade. I started braiding my own hair in 5th grade. I learned how to, you know, braid hair in 5th grade. And so from 5th grade up until this point, I'm good. I know how to braid. I don't need a refresher. I don't need a review, nothing. I actually had to set a boundary very early on with my instructor director, basically just saying, listen, I know how to braid. I like taking the clients. So in the beginning, that's why I would take braiding clients, but I will not be doing over 20 braids at this school, because I quit braiding outside of school for a reason. And I will not be braiding inside of school. One being because braiding is not even something that you taught me in school, and braiding also is not something that's on our log sheet and something that I need to know in order to pass this state board. And so with that being said, that's just somewhere where I had to draw a line, somewhere I had to draw a boundary, because the thing is, because I don't need to know how to braid for state board, nor do I need to know how to braid to get my license, nor is that something I'm presently like working on in school. I personally feel like it's a waste of my time coming to school and braiding people's hair, because that's time that I can use. That's time that I could be like using to spend to learn things that I actually don't know, like how to color hair, how to do, you know, nice little haircuts and all kinds of things. So with that being said, like when clients come in, maximum of 20 braids. A lot of times I don't even want to do 20. It's more like 8, but that's just something for you all to kind of like keep in mind. If there's something that you kind of do over and over and over, maybe it's worth talking to your teacher about, so like she starts giving those clients to other people, so you can focus on the things that you need to learn. And then also, it's very important to set that boundary early on, because a lot of clients will come in and abuse that. We all know how expensive knotless braids are these days. We all know how expensive or just painstaking mini twists are these days. And so a lot of customers, a lot of clients will come to cosmetology schools and try to get over on cosmetology students, because they know that we don't get paid and that they can get stuff done for cheap. But yeah, long story short, people will come in there and child, they would try it. Long story short, they would try it. But anyways, along with everything else, I would say use this opportunity to also practice your customer service, because obviously that's something that in the industry, a lot of us are allegedly just getting exposed for the lack of customer service, or just the lack of being able to de-escalate a situation, I would say. I'll say that. Like, as we all know, I'm sure at this point we have all seen a story or heard somebody talk about an unprofessional hairstylist. And while many of those stories may be true, a lot of them may have just been, you know, miscommunication, and had somebody actually had the experience of de-escalating a client, a situation, and maybe just, you know, redirecting them or whatever. Like, a lot of really just be miscommunication. But on the stylist's hand, it makes us look like we were the ones being unprofessional and yada yada yada. And I feel like right now in school, where you're in the place where it is okay for you to mess up, try new things, different approaches and stuff, right now is the time for you to kind of get a hang of that customer service. Because I will tell you this, how many times school can be written on the walls, the door, the brick, whatever. People still will walk in there expecting salon service, salon quality, and everything. So I'm telling you, it may be your first time doing something, but you'll finish it and they'll be like, oh, well, I want it like this, or I thought it was gonna look like this, or can you do it like the picture? They will. And in that moment, I feel like in those tough moments with the most unruly clients, those are the ones that you grow with the most. truly, especially when they start off being a little, you know, problematic, and by the time they walk out the door, they're just like the best people you've ever met. I feel like that's when you know your customer service definitely prevailed in that situation. So kind of use this time to practice, because when you get out there, like, there's nobody else that can kind of shield the blows for you. There's nobody else that can point and say, oh, she's still learning. When you get out there, at this point, you should know. They just expect us to know and to be able to do this and function as a professional would, because at that point, we'd be professionals. So put that into practice now, being professional. Now, next, y'all, this was something that I can say I still have not perfected, nor have my classmates, and we also don't really like it, nor do we want to. But this next point is the importance of appearance. Now, let's just be straight up. The beauty industry is a superficial industry. It's just so you know, what you see is what you get. The beauty industry is almost like personal training. Like, I'm not going to go get personal trained by somebody who does not have a body that looks like what I want, or who does not have a body like that looks better than me. And so a lot of times, like, on your good days, you'll meet people or you'll see people who just look good and wonder, what do they do for a living? Ooh, I like her hair. I wonder if she does hair. Like, stuff like that. And so one thing that my school has kind of been pressing us about is just caring about our appearance and like just looking good, looking presentable. And while it is annoying, like kind of painstaking, because I'm gonna just be honest, I'm not about to like do the most every day. Like, if I wake up late, it's either school or looking good, and sometimes you just got to make it to school. But I will say, this was kind of like a hard conversation to have at first, and a lot of my classmates didn't like it, but I can say firsthand that I get more business, or at least inquiries, when I look good than I do when I'm just like out bumming it just like everybody else or whatever. Like, a lot of times when my hair is done, even when I'm at school, oh, you did your hair? Oh, you do this? Oh, you do oh, what else do you do? Like, I get more inquiries than anything when I look like what I'm working in. So if you're a beauty professional, then you want to look beautiful every day, because a lot of times you're your own like advertisement. You're a walking billboard for yourself. Like, yeah, your clients can, you know, refer you or whatever, but they also need to kind of see some type of superficial like value in whatever beauty service that they're about to get from you. So if you're an esthetician, your skin needs to be clear. Your skin needs to look good. Even if you're not wearing no makeup, your skin needs to look good. If you are a hairstylist, do something to your hair. See, a lot of times, and as of recently, it's been, you know, off, because I'm just like, listen, I'm not about to do anything drastic or time-staking to my hair until after my wedding. But a lot of times my face cannot be there, but my hair will. And truly, that's just how I am. If there's nothing done to my hair, like, I literally, quite literally, I feel sick, okay? That's just me though. So I like to have my hair done personally. And like I said, I've noticed that when I'm working with other people, it shows. Like, it shows. People truly care in the beauty industry about how you look, okay? Then last but not least, as far as it goes like with continuing education, or basically after school, I've heard like a lot of just, you know, mixed reviews as far as it goes, you know, hey, be an intern, or hey, go be someone's assistant. I heard that you really learn a lot becoming an assistant. And I'm currently thinking about what I want to do after school, because y'all do know I do content creation full time. So I don't really know if I want to go like head first into, you know, the beauty industry and start doing hair like full time, but we'll definitely see. But one thing I do want to say before I end this video is that no matter what school you go to at this point, and if this is your school, let me know, but I feel like there is not a school out here that's teaching everything. Like, even if they're teaching everything hair, you probably are still going to have to either learn from experience or go to like a seminar to know everything that you need to know for your business. Even if they're teaching, you know, business stuff, there is something that every school is missing. So at this point in the game, I have definitely just accepted the fact that once I graduate, I'm still going to have to go do other classes. I know for a fact I'll probably need like a coloring class, and definitely, you know, a couple like cutting classes or whatever, just to kind of buff up my skills in those areas. But the thing is, that's not anything crazy, because if you look around at professionals, they have to do continuing education classes anyway. And a lot of them, in order to stay up to date with trends and whatnot, do these classes. So it's just like, you know, if you're gonna have to do a class anyway, girl, just do the class. And so don't stress too much about, you know, what you may not be learning or what you are learning. Just take what you can get from the school and go. Now, I will say, be honest about where you are when you're starting school. Like, be honest about what you need. I tell people all the time, I am only okay with the things that I see missing in my school, because I know that for me personally, those are things that I did not need anyway. For example, I obviously joined cosmetology school with my own tools, with a lot of my own skills, knowing how to do most of like the things that I want to do outside of school already. I'm just here to learn about this sanitation and whatever else you may have to offer that I need to know to take to this state board. Whereas a lot of people who may be coming in, and I don't know if this applies to your school, but a lot of people who may be coming in fresh do not know how to, you know, comb hair, or they may not know how to flat iron hair, they may not know how to shampoo. And some schools just are not for them. Like, obviously, since it's a school, you would assume that they're all like super beginner friendly, but I feel like in that case, you would want to invest a little more money into your education, because you would need more effort and like just more attention to be given to you. And so in that case, I do recommend like going somewhere that's more, you know, directed towards those who actually need education from 0 to 100. If I'm being honest, I personally feel like my school probably starts at like level 15 or level 30 or whatever. But I don't like, I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't say my school is good for, oh, I don't know how to comb hair, I don't know anything. So that's another thing to consider. Like, truly, where are you in your current process and in your current like skill level? Kind of be honest with yourself in terms of that. And lastly, I have been telling everybody who asks me about cosmetology school, and even when me and my classmates talk about it all the time, cosmetology school at this point is more mentally draining than it is physically. Like, yes, I have to show up every day, I have to be there on time, I have to stay there like however many hours, but I would say more than anything, it's mentally hard, because at this point, once you're learning how to physically do the same things over and over, those tasks are no longer hard. A lot of times they'll literally become muscle memory. But child, it just be ready for the mental aspect. Just be ready to be like, I don't want to go up here anymore. I'm so tired of being here. Oh my gosh, 500 hours to go. Just be ready for that aspect and kind of try to keep a positive outlook. I think the thing that kind of really keeps me going is, one, the fact that I'm literally almost done, and two, the fact that I get along well with literally all of my classmates. Like, they're all amazing people, and I think we're all kind of like at the same point where we're like, listen, we trying to hold on, and the only way we can do that is if we all collectively work together and make this a good time for everybody. So I definitely say making friends in cosmetology school is definitely worth it. And honestly, if I had to choose between you know, a good classroom environment and a super good cosmetology education, I would hands down choose a good classroom environment, because it makes a difference. It makes a huge difference. But anyways, y'all, that is all I have for this video. Let me know if y'all have any more questions down below, and if it's enough questions, I will definitely do a part 3, because as this process is kind of going on and I'm getting farther and farther in my school journey, there are more things that I'm seeing, that I'm realizing, that I want to get on here and share with you all. So definitely let me know down below what y'all thought about this video. Are you starting cosmetology school? Are you in cosmetology school? Girl, how is it going? But anyways, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning into this video. You already know, click, smack that subscribe button down below, and I will see y'all on my next video.
Daddy drew you like that beautiful black child. Come and shed your black cloud for your vibe and your smile. I don't mind a little rain. I'm your dog, ears perk up at the sound of your name.